that they are the people that got the truth. But yet you are messing this up. You got people waiting for something that's already happened. This has already historically been fulfilled. All of it. And we're going to show you. But now let's move on. Because it said there shall also be famine, pestilence, and earthquake in diverse places. Let's take a look at this famine. Still in the book of War. Go back to 5. What? Chapter 5. Go to chapter 5. We're going to 5.10.2. He said famine, pestilence, and earthquake. And it must be in relation to what? The destruction of the temple and Jerusalem. We're showing you that everything that Jesus said was in relation to the destruction of the temple and Jerusalem, and we're showing you that it was fulfilled in history.
Read book 5.
5.10.2. And paragraph 424. Now he said we're going to deal with this famine. Go ahead and read.
But as for the richer sort, it proved all one to them whether they stayed in the city or attempted to get out of it.
What city is he talking about? Jerusalem. Right? Because as we're going to read later on, he told the people to flee at a certain point when they see something. We're going to read what that is. Go ahead and read.
For they were equally destroyed in both cases.
They were equally destroyed in both cases. Go ahead.
For every such person was put to death under this pretense, that they were going to desert. But in reality, that the robbers might get what they had.
See, they put these people under this pretense. See, you had people robbing people in Jerusalem. And they tried to say we robbing them because they trying to desert the city. But they just wanted to tell people that so they got an excuse to rob them. But what else happened? Go ahead.
The madness of the seditious did also increase together with their famine.
Hold on, it increased with their what?
Famine.
And the sedition was a rebellion against the Roman government. It said it increased with their famine. Didn't he say there was going to be famine in diverse places? And what is this related to? The destruction of Jerusalem and the temple. Well, keep reading.
And both those miseries were every day inflamed more and more.
Both what miseries were inflamed more and more? The sedition and the famine. In diverse places, all over. Go ahead and read.
For there was no corn which anywhere appeared publicly.
There was no corn and famine. Go ahead.
But the robbers came running into and searched men's private houses, and then if they found any, they tormented them because they had denied they had any.
This is a severe famine. The famine was so severe that the robbers came in their house and found corn after you told them there wasn't any corn. They tormented you. But what is this in relation to? The destruction of the temple and Jerusalem. Historically fulfilled. You ain't got to jump 2,000 plus years to the future to get Matthew 24 fulfilled. We read everything fulfilled. Everything. Go ahead and read.
And if they found none, they tormented them worse, because they supposed that they had more carefully concealed it. The indication they made use of whether they had any or not was taken from the bodies of these miserable wretches, which if they were in good case, they supposed they were in no want at all of food. But if they were wasted away, they walked off without searching any further. Nor did they think it proper to kill such as these, because they saw that they would very soon die of themselves for want of food.
You see how bad this famine was? The robbers, if they looked at you and you looked like very sick, they were like, hey, we're not even going to do anything to you because we know you're going to die anyway. But Jesus said famine and pestilence, right? Which means disease. Think about it, sisters and brothers. Extreme starvation leads to disease. If you don't have proper nutrition, your body begins to attack itself. That leads to disease. That's the pestilence right now. So we got famine and pestilence in diverse places. But he also said earthquake. Didn't he say that too? So now we got to get the earthquake as it relates to what? The destruction of the temple and Jerusalem. Still in the book of War, go back to 4. Book 4, 4.4.5 and paragraph 283. All of this stuff has been fulfilled. We're showing it to you. We're proving it to you. If you're sitting in the congregation where they're trying to tell you that Matthew 24 is applying to our time, then you are being deceived. Maybe not intentionally, but deceived all the same. War 4.4.5. We're dealing with this earthquake. And paragraph 283. It should be on 678 in that book. Go ahead and read.
And now did the Idumeans make an acclamation to what Simon had said.
And Idumeans are Edomites. It said they made an acclamation to what Simon had said. Simon was the high priest. And he was trying to reason with the Idumeans about this whole war that was going on, which is another testimony of the war and rumor of war. But we're dealing with the earthquakes right now. Go ahead.
But Jesus went away sorrowful, and seeing that the Idumeans were against all moderate counsels, and that the city was besieged on both sides. Nor indeed were the minds of the Idumeans at rest, for they were in a rage at the injury that had been offered them by their exclusion out of the city. And when they thought the zealots had been strong, but saw nothing of theirs to support them, they were in doubt about the matter. And many of them repented that they had come thither.
See, the Idumeans, the Edomites, were fighting along with the zealots. Then they began to fight against the zealots, and then they teamed back up with the zealots to fight against the Romans. See, a lot of people don't even know that the Edomites were fighting right alongside the Hebrew Israelites to try to save Jerusalem and the temple. But you know, a lot of people don't want you to think that anyway, because they want you to think that the Edomites are just evil and they just the white man. That's a bunch of foolishness. But go ahead and read.
But the shame that would attend them in case they returned without doing anything at all, so for overcame that their repentance, that they lay all night before the wall, though in a very bad encampment.
So even though their camping conditions were bad, they still laid all night before the wall. This is about in Jerusalem, the city. We'll go ahead and read.
For there broke out a prodigious storm in the night.
There broke out a prodigious storm in the night, a very bad storm. A storm of prodigy, though, of prediction. Go ahead and read.
With the utmost violence and very strong winds, with the largest showers of rain, with continual lightnings, terrible thunderings, and amazing concussions and bellowings of the earth.
Amazing concussions and bellowings of the earth. Concussions means shaking. Shaking of the earth. What is that? An earthquake, right? It said bellowings of the earth, which is what?
That was in an earthquake.
That was in an earthquake. And it said bellowings with an S. These earthquakes were all over. So now we got the earthquake even. But what else? What does this represent, though? Go ahead.
These things were a manifest indication that some destruction was coming upon men when the system of the world was put into this disorder. And anyone would guess that these wonders foreshowed some grand calamities that were coming.
It said this indicated that some bad destruction was coming. And if you keep reading, Josephus, that bad destruction that came upon all men, the Hebrews in particular, was the destruction of Jerusalem and the temple by the hand of the Romans. But it made this earthquake to have something to do with prodigy, with supernatural prediction. Didn't Jesus say there shall be famine, pestilence, and earthquakes in diverse places? This is fulfilled right here. I mean, we had an earthquake one time back in 2001, and a class we used to go to, one of the teachers, we just had an earthquake not too long ago, Matthew 24. One single earthquake that we didn't even barely feel. And you want to apply this to Matthew 24? What about California and San Francisco? They have earthquakes all the time. Is that a fulfillment of Matthew 24? No. The earthquake that Jesus was talking about was not only going to be in relation to the destruction of the temple and Jerusalem, but it's going to also be out of the ordinary. Because this storm came out of nowhere. It said bellowings of the earth. That was a prediction of what Jesus said. Over 40 years later, the Messiah was on point. That has been fulfilled. We have given you the historical fulfillment of the famine, the pestilence, and the earthquake, haven't we? And we just still getting started. Let's move on. Let's go back to Matthew 24.